Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Real Starfighter. And today we have another Star Wars Unlimited deck profile. Today's deck is entitled Han's Oddballs, and it focuses on the Jump to Lightspeed Han Solo, Never Tell Me the Odds. And the whole point of this deck is to use odd number cards in a aggro assault against your opponent while you're mitigating their resources and their units to build a strong attack with the Millennium Falcon. Now, Han Solo's pilot ability is really great. When you activate him, you're basically restarting your turn and you get to do your turn. The ideal thing to do is basically wait for your opponent to claim the chip, activate Han Solo, and have a free turn without your opponent able to mitigate anything that you do. We play the Cloud City base as we utilize some blue cards in our strategy. We play a slew of fighters here. We have the Republic Y Wing and the Mining Guild tie as our one cost. We want to make sure we see these for some of our combos. Resistance X Wing is also a good thing to always start with, just because it gets a buff when you add a pilot on there, and pilots are very important in this deck. We have the Death Space Skirmisher to basically exhaust the opposing units. And we do have the Red Squadron X-Wing to get some draw power by taking some damage, or just be a powerhouse fighter. So it can do either thing. And we have Sabine's Masterpiece. Now, Sabine's Masterpiece is an excellent card in this deck. Basically, being able to either heal 2 damage or exhaust or ready a resource, depending on what's on the board, is really good. So Sabine's Masterpiece is a great card, especially since you're going to be using that resource ability more often than not. Next up, we have the Falcons in the deck. We play 3 Millennium Falcons of the 3-cost ones and 2 of the 6-cost Lando Falcon. The Millennium Falcon in the middle, the Jump to Lightspeed one, is the one that you want to set up for your big attack. The Millennium Falcon from the original set is the one that you use for quick attacks and for basically hit and run things. So basically, if you want to set up a end play where you're just throwing down Falcon, hitting a base real quick, or putting some pilots on there and starting to build up, that's the one to do. But the Millennium Falcon from Jump to Lightspeed is the one we want to use because it just adds extra attack for each pilot that you put on there. And we're basically going to build up the Millennium Falcon to get 3 pilots on there to swing for a really big hit. We do play the Lando Falcon just because we want to utilize that smuggle ability. It feels like we're never really going to play it 6 cost from the hand. We want to use it as a resource, and that's what it's designed for. And if we just needed an emergency Millennium Falcon for the game going too long or whatever have you, we always have a Millennium Falcon available to us. And that's the whole point of playing the Lando Falcon. We do play some droids, and I did give them the droid slide because I think it's the Falcon and droids are pretty synonymous with one another. R2D2 is the best droid pilot in the game right now just because he's 0 cost, and he expands our seats and our fighters, which is really great. So you can always put R2D2 and another pilot in a plane together. L3 is our ground person, and basically you want to just swing with L3 until your opponent deals with L3, and then L3 gets to go inside of a vehicle and pilot it. So we want to make sure we have L3 in here because basically L3 is what the Luke Skywalker does, but in reverse. So where Luke goes from a vehicle to ground, L3 goes from ground to vehicle, which in this deck has great dividends. It pays great dividends. And then we play 2 copies of C3PO. C3PO is great because you're always getting that ability to look at the top of the deck. He has some attack power with the 1 cost, with the 1 power. So he's really great for that. He is even cost, so it's kind of upsets the ability of Han a little bit, but it's still a great card. And basically, we want to make sure we have C3PO to make the Han combo work. Next, we have a setup of pilots. We got Dagger Squadron pilot, and Dagger Squadron is basically just there to help as a buff. I would put Dagger on the ground, or I put Dagger inside of a fighter. Either way, I just think that Dagger just needs to kind of be there because right now it's just one of the best pilots we have in the slot right now. And I think in the future, though, we'll probably, if we get more pilots, switch out the Dagger Squadron. Boshek is the most important pilot in the early game. You want to see Boshek because he just gets you your draw power and he powers up your fighters pretty well. Boshek and the Resistance X-Wing is great. So make sure you're seeing Boshek and powering up your fighters and getting that draw power off of him. Han Solo is the center of the aggro of this deck, because you want to use him to swing with the Millennium Falcon and basically go for a game. And if you basically stack the Millennium Falcon right with the R2, the L3, Mando, or just enough power, the Falcon can swing up almost to 12 damage, which is really great. But not only that, but if you're going up against a larger ship with Sentinel, you're going to be able to take out that ship without taking any damage to yourself, which is just very, very, very good. Then we played the Mandalorian. We only played 2 of the Mandalorian because we really want to use this pilot ability, just again to slow down your opponent. So if you play the Millennium Falcon and then you get R2D2 out on there, then you use Mandalorian just to stop an attack from happening, slow down your opponent a little bit, and then you go in with Han Solo. That's basically the ideal turn. Is you want to play Falcon at the end of one turn, R2D2 at the start of your next turn is just Mandalorian, Han Solo, and swing for a lot. So that's basically the big play of the deck and what you want to do with it. Events, we have Commence Patrol, and I've really only been playing Commence Patrol just to help with the swarming, help go wide, and also just in case L3 doesn't have a target, having Commence Patrol there is just a really easy way of, oh my gosh, L3 is going to die, I need to get a fighter on the board so L3 can jump into it, and just putting down an X-Wing token so L3 is getting really good value off of her ability. Put Confiscate because upgrades are plentiful right now. And we do play Vanquish just in case there is a larger target that we cannot deal with. Doing Vanquish and then activating Han Solo to reset the board is really good. We got sideboard options here. We have Tech, definitely expanding your smuggle section, definitely expanding your versatility deck of the deck. So Tech is good for that. We do have the Cloud Car. Cloud Car is great because it's actually a ground unit. It's not a space unit, and it is a vehicle fighter. And so it basically gets us a little bit more versatility out of Mandalorian, a couple other cards. And when it's defeated, it can bounce a card with 2 power or less back to the owner's hand. So it's great for taking out tokens or weaker stuff like the weaker Sentinels that we're having right now. Smuggler Starfighter is good, just as a complement to the deck if you want to run that one. I also like the 2/2. Smuggling Compartment is great for resource management. Spare the Target's great for bouncing cards back to the hand. Ezra Bridger kind of works like C3PO, but not as well. It's just a little bit more offense. So if you need more kick, then I would say sign in Ezra Bridger. Then you have Leia Organa, which again helps out with your resources, whether yours or disrupting your opponents. And then we do have McClunky, and this is kind of a card that if you want to kind of use the on-play abilities, or if you're going to spend that one resource to bounce the Falcon back to or leave on the board, you can bounce the Falcon back to your hand at the end and then do some damage. So it's really great to kind of protect some of your assets if your ships are getting blown up or your opponent's really mitigating your stuff. Maybe having something like McClunky to do some quick attacks and then bounce them back to your hand to protect your resources. McClunky would be good for that. So the deck overview, just kind of some strategy. You want to start off with a ship and Boshek every game. C3PO, Mining Guild, Red Squadron. Those are the cards you want to see. Utilize the draw power. Mid-game, you're building a board of support fighters and pilots. As you're building the stack, you're mitigating your opponent to go in for that big shot. The end game, you're looking to have a tall stack on the Jump to Lightspeed Falcon with R2D2, an additional pilot, and Han Solo to swing for massive damage. The pros of this deck is it has great draw power, which we don't see a lot in Star Wars Unlimited. It's defensive. It has great resource economy and is versatile all around. You always have options to play this deck, and even if you lose the big stack Falcon or you lose the wideness, you're pretty much set. You have versatility for this deck. The cons is that it's very expensive. It's over $100 because of the cards necessary. Even at their base value, they're really expensive. It only has one strong power play, and it struggles against the current meta as of June 2025. So there definitely are some issues with it. It does run up against a lot of issues with the Tier 0, Tier 1 decks, but it's still a good fun deck, and if you have the right pilot and the right people controlling it, maybe you can do decently well. But it's a great format to start off a new player with. So this is the deck breakdown. Here's all the ratios. And you guys can mess with these obviously as you want, and just kind of take this as like a baseline. Um, I know when you're looking at this, you're like, why do you play the blue base and you're only using 3 blue cards? I think the blue stuff is really good. I think it makes the deck stronger, even though it's for the few blue cards we play. It just, in my opinion, makes the deck feel a lot better, a lot more functional, and it really emphasizes what this deck is about, which is draw power and getting to your combo pieces very quickly. So you're always having those options. You're never feeling like, oh my gosh, why did I put down as a resource? Because you're always having that plentifulness of hand. So this has just been a really great learning deck. It's been great for casual play. It does pretty decently in competition, but again, it just struggles against those larger tier decks like the tier 0 and tier 1 decks. So um, I'm going to continue working with this one. I think it's one that's going to grow as the game grows. I think as the game grows and we get more cards and get more resources, there's definitely cards that are going to come out of here and get replaced. Dagger Squadron definitely would be one of those things. The base, Commence Patrol, like there's definitely so many options you can do. And it's also really interesting because you're playing 2 boss pilots with the Mandalorian and Han. And I think that's just a great combination if you can get them both in the Falcon, because it just makes a really great hit, especially with R2D2. So if you guys like this, make sure you go ahead and like the video, comment any changes you would make or any suggestions you have, and of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more content. This place crawls, and remember to always check your 6.